Canada is reevaluating the safety of rice products after recent studies show that rice and many products containing rice have significant levels of inorganic arsenic, which is linked to cancer. So is rice safe to eat or not? We have nutritionist Alyssa Bauman here to tell us more. Welcome, Alyssa. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have these questions. I happened to have rice last night, so I was thinking about it when I was feeding the dish to my children. But first of all, give us a sense of where arsenic comes from.
Right. Well, arsenic is naturally occurring in our environment, but with all the toxins out there, with our agricultural farming and how we're raising our livestock, we're seeing more of this arsenic pollute our streams, from the growth hormones and also the antibiotics that these animals are giving. They're trickling down into our streams, and also the way we're raising our crops, the pesticides, the herbicides, the fungicides, all have small levels of arsenic which are contaminating our foods.
Okay, so people go to the grocery store, they buy their rice, I got the big box of minute rice. How do we know if
minute rice?
Safe?
Okay.
Okay, I know.
Well, it's important to know where your rice is coming from. It's been said, Consumer Report released, that balsamic rice is one of the safest, but also knowing where it's coming from, from the United States is actually quite contaminated, and also France and Italy and Bangladesh. Those countries are having high levels of arsenic. Safer rices are from Egypt, from Thailand and India and Asia.
Okay.
And it's important to buy organic rice because at least we can get rid of some of the arsenics from the pesticides that we were talking about before.
Okay. Is there any way to remove the arsenic from the rice?
Well, there is a way that we can take out a lot of the arsenic, not all of it, and it's by soaking it, at least rinsing it, and then soaking it.
Before you cook it?
Before we cook it, yes. And then changing the way we cook our rice. So normally we would let the water simmer and add the rice and then cook it till it was finished. We can boil rice like pasta now, and this actually takes out about 40% of the arsenic that is in our rices.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes, so it's changing the mindset of how we cook our rices.
So how much rice is safe to eat? What's the recommended amount?
1 to 3 servings for adults, and this is a serving size. Remember, that looks small, but rice expands when we cook it. And for children, and this report is very, very important for children because children are eating more rice as well. So about 1 serving per week for rice for children.
Okay.
And we're talking about rice products. We're talking about rice as starter foods for babies. We're talking about rice in our milks for children that are lactose intolerant. We're talking about all the rice products that are added to gluten-free products like rice bran and rice flour and brown rice sugar, which is a sweetener. So we're getting more rice, not mainly just in the rice form, but also in the products that we're eating.
Right. You talked about children. I want to get to this point.
Yes.
So we're running out of time. But one of the first things we're told is that you feed your babies. The first thing you're supposed to give them is the rice cereals. The first thing.
Right.
Are there some alternatives?
I would definitely skip that as a new mother. I would say, I'll look for other alternative grains. Maybe some quinoa, maybe some oats, maybe some avocado, soft fruits, vegetables, just mush it up. I think that mentality is old thinking now.
Okay, so you brought in some other examples here.
I did bring in some other grains. These are 2 types of quinoa. We have white and red. Very high nutritional profile, loaded in protein. This is a great alternative to rice, and it actually is much, much less bloating as well. I brought in some oats, and this is again heart healthy and helps lower cholesterol levels, and it's a great carbohydrate.
What do you have here?
This is black forbidden rice, and this is known to have lower amounts of arsenic and also much higher in antioxidants.
Black forbidden rice?
That's what it's called. Yeah, it's from Thailand.
Okay.
So this is the brown basmati, and this is the white basmati. There are studies showing that white rice has less arsenic. However, as a nutritionist, I have to say that brown rice with a more nutrient profile is better to eat.
All right. Very good information.
Great. This is also just the hemp milk.
Oh, okay. And how do we serve that?
So instead of feeding your children or having drinks based on in rice, this is just water and hemp seeds, which is high in protein content and magnesium, and you blend it up and it becomes milk, and you can add any type of sweetener you want. So I would give that to my children as opposed to a rice milk if they were lactose intolerant.
Interesting information.
Yes.
Thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of questions answered for sure. If you want to watch this segment again, just go to our website, ctvmorninglive.ca.